Friday? Friday! You know, I never know what day it is. I have had so many people ask me to please show them my watercolor set, my traveling watercolor set. And I have used this for 3 years now, and I have yet to have to replace the half pans that the watercolor is in. It comes in a nice little plastic pack, and this is what it looks like. And it's, if you've never used one, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna open my world. There is a pen, and they're called water pens. You can unscrew it and fill the container with water. It's not the best watercolor pen in the world, but it will do in a pinch, and it fits snug into that. Now this watercolor set that I have, I chose to only go with the 18 set. There are many sets out there that are from 18, 24, 42 colors. The 42 color one is just a little bit bulky for me, so I wanted to keep things as simple as I can. And when I watercolor, I'm trying to keep my down to 4 colors. It just made sense to my simple mind. Blues and browns, yellows, blacks, whites, yellows, oranges, and they have them kind in a pattern, but you get used to it. I take my watercolor pans, this little watercolor set, with me every time I travel. I am a terrible traveler. I get bored really very quickly. No joke. SK getting bored? Nah, can't happen. And I keep all my watercolor equipment that I travel with, I keep them in a nice tote. And the tote has a zippered pocket. And in that zippered pocket, I keep extra brushes. On the airplane, I just use this little brush. Be aware, you cannot take this with water in it already filled onto the airplane. You have to buy their water or get the stewardess to give you water. But I wanted to demonstrate what I could do with this little teeny tiny 18 color fan. When I'm sitting in an airline seat, I pull the table down after all the rules are applied. I pull the table down and I use that. I actually tape my piece of paper, and I keep watercolor paper with me. This size, 11 by 8 by 11. I cut them in half. I use them full size. But because I'm trying to challenge myself to see what else I can do with this little half pan, there are many reviews of these on YouTube, and I will be doing my own review of the 18 color. All the color reviews I see are 42 color. They are much thicker than this one, and so I tend to stay I'm a simple girl. There is a little pad here that as you get water on what you're using, you can clean your brush off a little bit on this. I always keep paper towel bits, not this huge clump of paper towel I found on the floor. You always keep some paper towel tucked in, and I always keep my specialty watercolor brushes with me when I'm traveling. I have a pencil and a white rubber eraser so that when I'm working, I'm not frustrated that I don't have everything that I need. I hope everything's going well with you all in these very, very, very sad times. But I'm not going to go there. This paper, I learned very, very difficult lessons that your paper needs to be 100% cotton, and it can be expensive if you're prolific. I'm prolific, but I save every square inch I can. I got a Facebook announcement this morning from Angela Witzel of Dogwood Exchange. Jazzin' of the Junk is coming up in August, and she has bought a ambulance. and you know Angela, she is out to do more in one lifetime than we most normal people can't do in a full time. I am going to do what is called a wet on wet with these little tablets. This little tablet fan. It's called a watercolor fan, and mine is by Supreme, and they all come out of China. I also have another one. It's Core, Q-O-R, and I use this a lot because it's self-contained, but it doesn't have water, and I need to keep some water in between my knees, or however I'm doing it. I try to go out and do what is called plein air painting, and that is taking my French easel, which does have foldable legs, so I can get up and watch it, paint on it vertically, and paint on it as I'm standing there watching nature unfold in front of me. I'm going to tip you down, and we'll see what kind of mess I make this morning. I'm going to very gently mist my, and as I'm doing this on an airplane, I have a little tiny bottle that I fill on the airplane, and it's called a mister, and it mists very, very fine. Now, I am teaching myself watercolor, so please forgive you those that are professional watercolorists. I share so much on my own channel of other people's work because other people's work is so delightful. Now, when you're working with watercolor, and I'm sure that most of you have, you get your pans wet. You just take your brush, you squeeze your brush, and drop some water onto each pan. These are called dry colors, and they have to be rehydrated before you can use them. When I was flying to Tennessee last year, I did a floral just to see if I could, and I did Angela's barn that she has now demolished. And I was very excited about what I could do with these watercolors. Now there is white. You can see there's white in this. I don't usually use white because if you're a purist watercolor artist, I'm trying to be taught that you're working backwards. The white of the paper are your highlights. So let's play with this water pen for just a second. I would like to get yellow. I'm doing an iris. And because that is my lightest yellow, that is my lightest color, I want to get that in there first. Because once I start doing my darks, it's impossible to get your yellows or your light colors, your lightest of value, to come back. And you're supposed to use your little pen here, your little soft sponge, to get the yellow or the color out. And you can see I've used my sponge liberally, and I actually cleaned it last night with alcohol, and that purple paint will not come out. Now there is a pan here that is empty, and I use that as my mixing pan. Now, because the irises that are in my garden this morning, I was going to go pick a couple. They are purple. So I'm going to make some large amounts of watered down purple. To learn a technique that is called negative painting, and for some reason I'm having a really difficult time understanding how you go about doing what they are talking about. Watercolors is an art of layering, and every time you layer another color on, you're actually laying another filter. If you were to think of lights in the theater as they lay colors on their spotlights, transparencies on their spotlights, it turns the spotlights a different color, and that is what happens in watercolor. And because I'm as heavy-handed as I am, this has been a very schooling chore for me, because I don't understand, I still don't understand the colors of trying to layer and get your colors right. It's porcelain china, and I have every color. And I keep a lid on it so I don't get dust and particles in my watercolor paints. These are fun, but like I said, the only time I use them, the quality of the watercolor isn't up to, and it's not like I have huge high standards, but it can be very difficult to work with. I'm going to let you go. Have a beautiful day. We can paint. Love you all. Bye.